you again for joining me on another ingredient throwdown, a time where we're just getting together to go over a Plexus product one by one until we've gone through that whole line. And what we're doing is we're throwing down those ingredients. We are not spending a lot of time going over the nitty-gritty, going over the science, going over all those things. We are going to look at big picture benefits. That is our goal. So today we are going to talk about block. We have gone over balance, which is a very similar product, but today we're going to cover block. But as always, I'm going to start out with the did you know. So the first did you know that when we ingest carbs, all carbs, healthy carbs, not so healthy carbs, all carbs, our body registers them and absorbs them as sugars. And obviously our body needs carbohydrates. That is not what I'm saying is to cut out carbs. What I am saying is you need to be cognizant of those carbs in total and that sugar load it's putting in your body. And the second did you know that the carbs and sugars that our body is not absorbing and needing at that time, our body is going to convert that into fat, okay? So it converts it into glucose for our body to utilize as energy, but any excess is converted into fat. And excess fat equals excess weight. And the next, did you know, let's just follow this digestion path. When we put all this carb and sugar load into our bodies, it is going to trigger insulin to be released, right? So we get this high sugar high, insulin's released to try and take care of that sugar load, and eventually we're gonna crash. And the last, did you know that it is estimated Americans consume 156 pounds of sugar on an annual basis. Now granted, that's an annual basis, but that is still crazy. And even the American Heart Association is gonna pipe into this, right? They estimate Americans consume 22.2 teaspoons on a daily basis. And what we really only need and should be having is 6 teaspoons. All right, it's time to move on. So what is in this stuff? What is in this that makes it so fantastic when it comes, again, to blocking these carbs and sugars? Well, once again, Plexus has done it right. We have got 3 simple ingredients that are going to take care of this, and they're all going to do it from different avenues, okay? So the first ingredient, chromium picolinate. And the chromium picolinate, if you recall, is kind of what I say is our key for insulin to get in our cells and metabolize sugars in a normal manner. If we can't get that into our cells to be converted into energy, then we keep these insulin levels high in our bloodstream, which is not a good thing. The second ingredient, there's a brown seaweed blend. So the brown seaweed is going to target our issues by giving us a satiated feeling. This seaweed is going to bind with water in our system, fill us up so we have a less tendency to overeat. Plus, it's a natural source of iodine. And the third and final ingredient, white kidney bean extract, which is also in the balance that we talked about last week. And if you recall, this has to do with blocking enzyme systems in our body. So when it comes to enzymes that are secreted immediately when we start digesting food from our saliva even, all the way down through our digestive tract, and it will block up to 48% of that absorption of carbs and sugars because the enzymes are not allowed to chomp on those long chains. And if those long chains can't be converted into short digestible chains, then they are just excreted in our body, which is the brilliance of all this. I know some of you are asking, is this just a license to overeat and really go crazy when it comes to carbs and sugars? No, the answer is still no. This is an appropriate way that we can deal with just the excess that we get in our American diets. All right, let's move on to benefits. Well, they're pretty obvious, right? And honestly, you could go back to the balance video and look at the benefits there because they will not have changed. But let's touch on a couple. So, blood sugar stability, right? keeping our blood sugars in a lower swing rather than these high swings is a really big deal. And again, we are getting to the root issue here, right? So if we just back up the train a minute and go back to even my did you knows, when we talk about sugars and carbs, those excesses are converted to fat. So take something out of your fridge. I double dog dare you. Take out any condiment that you have hanging out in your fridge. Take a look at that sugar content. Or even if it's a low fat item, right? That catchphrase low fat, take a look at the craziness in those sugars on that. And again, the end result in all that is fat, but carbs and sugars are really where it starts. So if we can get to the root cause of that, we are going to have better long-term effects. Does that make sense? So let's just touch on the major benefit here, weight control, weight management, right? So if we can keep our insulin levels sensitive, we are going to be able to keep our blood sugar swings in these smaller swings rather than these super high highs and super low crashes. That is a really big deal. And all this also amounts to just an improvement in our glucose metabolism, how our body functions, how our body processes carbs and sugars as a whole, right? In addition to just blocking up to 48% of it that's coming in your diet in the first place. And the brilliance in all this too, if you recall, the nutrients from our foods are still absorbed in full. It is just these long chain carbs that are going to be blocked from being absorbed. All right, let's move on to dosing. Very similar to the balance. However, if you recall, balance is 2 capsules that you take before your largest meal of the day. Now, there is a time element involved in the balance. You need to give it some time to get into your system to get the maximum effect. However, with the block, you can take it immediately before your meal. Again, 2 capsules immediately before your meal. So you need to be carrying this around in your purse. You need to be carrying this around in your car, in your pocket, whatever. This is our tool that you need in your toolbox because it can be taken as a one-off, right? You can take this before you go to a birthday party and enjoy that piece of cake. You can take this immediately before you sit down for that big dinner. All the one-off instances that we want to enjoy that meal with our family and friends, but we can walk away not having all those carbs and sugars digested, and we are going to feel better coming out of that meal. And we are not going to get these high highs and these crazy blood sugar crashes. That's the beauty in this. Okay, let's move on to precautions. As always, it is formulated for adults 18 years of age or older. Doesn't mean that anyone outside that age can't utilize this product, but be in contact with your sponsor. And the second precaution, pregnancy and breastfeeding. Again, this is something that you just need to be on the same page with your doctor if this is a product that you choose to be using during pregnancy and breastfeeding. And the side note with the block is it can cause some constipation. Now, how to alleviate that is as long as you're taking it with plenty of water, it's not going to be an issue. So if that is something you struggle with, keep that in the back of your mind. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging with me till the very end. Again, that is all I really wanted to cover on the block, and what a great product to be knowledgeable about and to get in your order as we come into the holiday season, right? And if you are new to this Plexus train and you have no idea what I'm talking about, again, I'm going to list in the description box my link. Get on there, nose around, ask some questions. Curiosity is going to get you on this train every time. And as always, I'm going to include some quick links to other videos I've done in this series on the product, all those things. So again, thank you for joining me on another ingredient throwdown. Hope you can catch up with me again next week as we may just be going over another product. But in the meantime, cheers to your health and happiness.